In today's video, we're exploring 3 homes that are currently for sale under $425,000 in Easton Park. I was really surprised going through each of these homes. They're really good lots, and for the lowest prices in the neighborhood, they're not gonna stay on the market long. So we're gonna check it out right now. Hey, Daniel here, your local Easton Park real estate expert. If you're thinking of making a move to the Easton Park neighborhood, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on the latest real estate news. I typically upload every Tuesday on the channel, and I do a bunch of different types of videos. I'll do tours like this, like best deals. I'll do market reports. So if you are thinking of buying here in the next 12 months or so, definitely subscribe so you can keep track of what's happening in our neighborhood. I've lived here since 2021. I know the neighborhood extremely well. I was actually a teacher for 10 years before I jumped into real estate, and I found that a lot of the values and skills I developed from teaching and what made me get into teaching transferred over really well into real estate. Honesty, hard work, effective communication, and really just wanting to help other people is still why I really enjoy doing this career. So it doesn't matter if you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. I'd love to help you and your family find a great home and a great deal in our awesome neighborhood. All right, let's go check out house number 1. So the first house we're checking out today is actually a new construction home. This is a Brookfield residential. Brooklyn is the name of this floor plan. It's a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, 1,562 square foot home, 2-story, and this one's listed at $352,000. It's still under construction, but it's far enough along the way that we can get a sense of it. I'll pan around so you can see where we're at. We're actually in Union Village, so we're in northeast part of Easton Park. This part's a little tricky because we are right against a apartment complex. This listing's pretty good though, because with this one right here, we're kind of looking at the back of some storage containers, it looks like, so you're not staring at, people's balconies. But let's check this one out. Pretty good sized front patio space. And again, really good privacy here. When sitting out here, it's just going to be kind of a park in front of you, so not bad. I don't know how I feel about the yellow door. So this house, not this house, but this floor plan is actually what brought me and my wife to Easton Park. We saw the condos they had here back in 2020, and we wanted to see if we can get a Brooklyn. This was our favorite floor plan. We couldn't at the time because, if you remember, the market was crazy in 2020, and there was a wait list for all of these condos, about 45, 50 deep. So they said, you can go on the wait list and we'll contact you in maybe a year, and you don't get to choose which floor plan. And we're like, we're not doing that, so we went with a different one instead. But I really do like this floor plan. The incentives for this, it's good to know because this is the only new build we're checking out today. The other 2 are gonna be resale. For Brookfield condos, they're offering either a 1.99% interest rate. That's a 3-2-1 buy down, meaning first year you'd pay that, second year 2.99, third year 3.99, and then finally you end at 4.99 fixed. Or what I prefer is a 2-1 buy down plus closing costs paid. So with this one, you would save about $9,000 up front because they're paying all of your closing costs. And then you would start at a 2.99, 3.99, and then the third year moving onward, you'd be at 4.99. So that's what's going on with these. Really good interest rates. Who knows what's going to happen with interest rates? They could come down even more, and then you could refinance in the future. It's doubtful they're going to get lower than 4.99, so that's really good, and the closing costs are paid for too. All right, let's get back to the tour. So we have this dining area over here. Good amount of space on the kitchen island. And then 5-burner range. No handles on the cabinet. It's not a big deal though. That's something you can add. I like that we have this extra spot over here too. So more storage space, more countertop space. Fridge, potentially something we can negotiate to be included. With closing costs paid, they may not go for that. We have coat closet here, half bath here. Pretty good size half bath. And then this is the garage. So these condos, it's all private roads. I'll come out here so you can see. And so you can see like no parking right at the red fire lane. You would come in here and then you would park in here more often than not. You do have a very small driveway. It's not really much space to actually park a car, so you would be using this to park. The good news is they made these garages quite large. So you can see distance wall to door, we're looking at about 2 feet either side. So plenty of room for both parking. Tankless water heater included, which is going to help with your water bill. And then we do have an EV charger included too. If you have an EV or you plan to get one in the future, that's nice to have, just already included. I like how the ceiling opens up here. Most of the condos do not have that, so this is really nice. Really nice amount of just natural light coming in. They don't stop at the normal windows, but they add these extra layer above. And just a beautiful view for this one. I mean, having these more mature trees, you typically don't see that in new construction. Backyard is definitely something that is a struggle for these condos. So this is your yard, right? It's not really anything, just gravel. It would definitely be something to ask what we can do if we're allowed to add turf. You know, where is the property line for this property versus yours? That's something I would want to look at. All right, let's check out upstairs. So carpeted stairs and second floor. So to the left, we have our 2 guest rooms and our utility room. So here's our guest bathroom, single sink, pretty good amount of space. And then very large linen closet. And then here's the utility room. I like that we went with tile here. We have the drainage right there, not stackable, so side by side. Wish they added a shelf. Again, that's something you can add easily. Natural light coming in, which is rare, so it's a nice little touch. And then our 2 guest rooms. No ceiling fans, that's normal for new construction. I don't know why they never do that. Just with the single window looking out. And then same exact. Same space, closet, single window. These would be good potentially for offices / just having a guest room, depending on what you need. And then here we have our HVAC system. So that's where you would change your air filter once every 3 months. And then the primary bedroom is up here. So here's the primary closet. Not a bad amount of space. Obviously it's not gonna be huge closets for the price range we're looking at. Here, dual vanity, which is great. It's kind of a shoot in the dark with the builder if they're going to do 2 sinks when you do inventory. So it's nice they did that, it's smart. And then walk-in shower. Really good amount of space in this bathroom. And then this is the primary with the ceiling fan. Good amount of space in here. And then again, I love this lot where it's just looking out to trees. So complete privacy. You're not, I mean, the apartment building's there, you can't even see it. So this is a great floor plan, great lot. And it's gonna be built, I think, at the end of October. So if you are thinking of moving in October, November, you wanna get in the neighborhood for this price, this is the lowest price one we're looking at today. And with the new build incentives, I think it's my favorite already. But yeah, that was house number 1. Now we're gonna check out 2 resale. Now they're gonna be much bigger, so I'll see you over there. So the second house we're checking out is a resale home, but barely. It's only 2 years old. This is coincidentally another Brookfield home. It is one of their Courtyard homes. I'll explain the difference when we go inside. It's a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, same as the last house, but this is 2,000 square feet. So about 450 more square feet than what we previously saw. And this one's listed at 424,900. So pretty steep increase, or about 70,000 more than what we saw in the previous house. But it's a really, really great house. So I'll pan around so we can see where we're at. We are in Prospect Park, so this is where most of the new construction is happening. You can see all the empty lots on that side of the road. They're going to keep building over there. And so this part of Easton Park is southeast, okay? And eventually when Easton Park is finished in about 7-8 years, this will be central Easton Park, because they're going to keep expanding south. Really beautiful exterior. I like the green hardy plank, and then we have this white brick the white trim around. A decent amount of space in this front patio. And this one's going to look out to Osblick is the name of this road. It will become a pretty prominent road Something to keep in mind with this specific lot, which is really nice, is you see where the road ends right there? That's going to be a town center where they're going to be putting restaurants. They're putting, who knows what else they're going to put. There's a lot of commercial space there. So in about 4 or 5 years, you're going to be walking distance from restaurants, maybe an Alamo Draft House, just a walking area. Think of like a Mueller vibe. So that side of the street will be all homes, and then right there, it's going to be all of that, which I'm looking forward to seeing what they build there. So this home is staged, obviously, right? It's vacant, but they did a good job staging it so you can get a sense of what it would look like with all of the furniture in it. This, I believe, is the Ithica floor plan, if you want to look it up online. I say that, I didn't look it up, but coincidentally, this is also a home that my wife and I were interested, or the floor plan we were interested in buying a few years ago. I love this. Of the Courtyard homes Brookfield has, Ithica is my favorite floor plan, which I'll explain as we go around. This has basically everything I want in a house. So yeah, let's walk around and I'll kind of talk about what we're seeing. So walk in, already they have the tray ceiling, so a little bit higher ceiling, and then our living room is over here to the left. They did a great job of showcasing, this is a massive couch and it's still fitting pretty well in this space. And then they did quite a few upgrades in this home too, which is nice when you do resale because you kind of see like what did they do. And I can tell you these upgrades cost quite a bit. So the beautiful light fixtures with the black, they're keeping the black throughout with the handles, the hinges, the faucet here. Large single basin sink, super thick countertop on this one. And then we have built-in oven, built-in microwave, corner pantry, plenty of space for your pantry, beautiful pantry. Not stage that. And then we have a built-in range, which is great. It is only a 4-burner, but it's nice that it's built in because then you have these pull-out drawers below. So more storage space, really beautiful backsplash. And I like this color that they went with for the cabinets. Just, it looks cool to me. And then a good amount of space on the island too. You can see fridge is included. Back here, so this is what makes it a courtyard. These are shared driveway homes, and you can see kind of the corner here where it's courtyard home, courtyard home, courtyard home. So this is not the best view, right, obviously, but you can see if I go around the corner, this is your driveway. So right here in their 2-car garage. So shared driveway coming in to connect to these 4 homes, and then you have your own driveway right here. So you don't have much of a backyard. It's definitely a big step up from where we just were, right, with all the gravel. And you can put kind of black netting here to give yourself a little bit more privacy. The first house that my wife and I bought in Easton Park was a courtyard home, and we got it for the price, right? That's the reason we did it. But that was the biggest thing we didn't like about the courtyard home, is just the lack of privacy. You walk out your door and you're 15 feet from your neighbor and they're out there reading a book and you're like, you gotta say hi. It's just, you lose privacy a lot with these courtyard homes. If you get along with your neighbors, it's great. But personally, I just didn't like constantly having to see people when I just want to hang out on my patio. It's a good size patio though for this specific home. All right, to the left here, this is our garage. So you can see 2-car garage, very similar to what we just saw. Tankless water heater, irrigation system with this one. And then all the homes Brookfield builds has the EV charger. Half bathroom right here. Okay size. And then washer dryer you convey with this, so that's a nice little upgrade. I like that we have these built-ins too. It's just very different than having the shelf here. It just looks a little bit nicer. Now this is a big reason why I like the Ithica floor plan. It connects to the primary closet. So super easy when you're doing your laundry, just walk it right in here and you're done. Then we have extra storage underneath the stairs here. And now we're in our primary bathroom, which is very nice. They did a great job with the upgrades. Again, keeping the super thick countertop, that's definitely an upgrade. The separated widespread faucets, easier to clean. Keeping the same style with the cabinets, super large walk-in shower with the natural light coming in, floor to ceiling tile. Yeah, all of this looks great. And even the toilet room has a natural light coming in, which is rare to find. Here's the primary bedroom, ceiling fan with the tray ceiling. They blocked these three, which I don't think was smart for showings. You would have more natural light than what's in here right now. So you have those three squares right there, as well as the two looking out to Osblick. And then the next thing I like about this is you have a study. So you do get a study downstairs. Every door down here are 8-foot tall doors, and then we have the French doors here for the study. And this looks out to the front. So you see someone walking up the path, you know who's knocking on your front door. Really great floor plan. And then we have our formal dining area. Put a table here. I would probably do a smaller table in that space, but yeah. So let's go upstairs, but already you can see very different, right? We have our primary downstairs, so you don't have to go up and down every day like we saw with the condo. We have a study included, so you don't have to use a bedroom if you need a home office, and you get somewhat of a backyard. So those things alone make it more worthwhile, like higher price, more value to get this than the condo. I will say the condo, not only is it cheaper, but you're getting a lower interest rate most likely because you're buying through the builder and they have more incentives than a resale. Something to keep in mind, because you could argue, well, what if you just ask, the resale owner for the same incentives? You can, but you got to think about this specific home. This was built in 23. They probably bought it in 23. Prices were very high in 23, and this home has already come down about 24,000 from, it's been on the market for 4 months. It's already come down 24,000 from their original listing price. So you're probably not gonna have that much wiggle room with these owners because they're most likely selling at a loss, unfortunately. They've only lived in the home for 2 years. They bought at the height of the market. So you can't really come into this one going, I'll buy it, but I want you to match the builder's incentives because they're probably already selling at a loss. So something to keep in mind with, you got to think about when did the owners buy. If it was at the height of the market, 22, 23, early 24, then they probably are going to be in the red if they do too many concessions, okay? Cool. All right, we're upstairs. We do have a landing. So again, an extra little bonus here. It's not just a hallway. Lots of natural light in the landing. And then the guest rooms are quite a bit larger than the previous one. I like the extra little windows they add here. Here's a linen closet. Pretty good amount of space with this one too. And then your HVAC, again, where you would change your air filter every few months. And then our guest bathroom. Great job at floor to ceiling tile. That is an upgrade. Natural light coming in again, like the black faucet and the thick countertop. And then the third and final bedroom. So cool, there you have it. That was the second home on the tour. Now we're gonna go check out the third and final house. So I'll see you over there. All right, the final home we're checking out. This is a one-story home built in 2017. It's a resale home in Nob Hill. This is North Easton Park. This is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,904 square foot home. 100 square foot less than the previous home, but actually feels bigger. And this one's listed at $425,000. It was originally $475,000, so they've dropped it a ton. They dropped it by 50 grand. And as of recording, this has been on market for 2.5 months. Pan around so we can see where we're at. Nob Hill is one of the older parts of Easton Park. 2017, so not that old, but all the lots here are pretty big compared to what they're currently building. This lot I was really surprised about when I came up because we're right next to this little park. They call it the Kazar Green. I don't know how they say it. Kazar Green. So just this little area, little sitting bench, right? Very minimal. Beautiful area. And so you're right next to it, so you don't have a side neighbor, just the one side neighbor and a rear neighbor, and really not much of a front neighbor either because you're close to this semi-cul-de-sac. Super long driveway. Can easily fit 4 cars on the driveway without sticking out. And then all brick exterior with this blue garage door and then natural light going into the garage there. That actually might be fake. Now that I say that, we'll see when I open the garage door. But yeah, all brick. It's beautiful. Check it out. I'm really impressed with all of the homes we've seen today. All right, so very different home already. Much taller ceilings. To the left, we have our 2 guest rooms right off the bat, both with ceiling fans installed. Lots of natural light with that arched windows. Really good sized rooms. These are by far the largest guest rooms that we've seen today. And then here's the second guest room. little bit smaller with this one, just a single window. And then our guest bathroom, single sink. Doesn't go floor to ceiling like the last house, but you do get natural light coming in. Good amount of countertop space, and I like that they have handles on the cabinets. And then this is tile flooring, so just like the previous home. The first home had LVP flooring. I personally prefer that, but tile, LVP, they're both very durable, waterproof. All right, so here we have kind of a flex space, really cool light fixture they put in here. Natural light coming in, you can kind of see how we're just next to that green, so you don't have any neighbors on that side. I'm shocked. You know, we're looking at homes that are on the more affordable side of Easton Park, and I was not expecting great lot placement as well. So this one is a steal. Lots of extra space there too. So I could see myself using this as maybe a second living area, or I put a TV and a couch. This could be kind of the theater room maybe. Or you can put a dining table in here, make this a formal dining area for when you have a lot of guests over. Oh, actually, I probably play board games in this room. Here we have our 2-car garage. Some shelving already included, regular water heater. And we have the Rainbird irrigation system. This is one of the older homes, so they don't have an EV charger over here, but a pretty good amount of space for that garage. A couple things with resale you always want to ask them to fix. Super loose handle, where you can see it coming off the door there, so something that we would just ask them to replace. Not a big deal. And then this opens up to a very large living room, kitchen, and dining area. So living room, it's huge. The biggest one we've seen so far. I don't know why they went with this type of fan, because it doesn't have a light attached, so it's actually quite dark in here. That's probably part of the reason why it may not be showing so well, because it is staged beautifully, but it is quite dark as I'm walking through here with all the lights turned on. And then we have the largest island we've had so far, this beautiful granite countertop. Again, love that they have handles on all of the cabinets already and drawers. No built-in, so just regular range microwave. I do like the lighting underneath the cabinets there. Adds a little bit. And then not a single basin sink. You have the old school two basin sink. Here's your pantry, okay sized pantry. And then formal dining area off the side here. And then tucked away back here is your utility room with, again, natural light coming in. Has a shelf above it. I like that this is tucked away, far away from all the rooms in the living room, so when the laundry's going, you're not able to hear that. And then this back patio blew me away, especially coming from that Courtyard home. Look at this. This is massive, y'all. This is really big. Comes with a fan already, so that surprised me too, right? They've already painted the ceiling. They have the built-in, they put curtains up here. They have the party lights wrapped around, and it's like going out to the tree there. Yeah, this is huge. This is a really, really, really big back patio for $425,000. It's nuts. And then, obviously, the biggest yard we've seen so far, right? And this will wrap around. I don't know what's out there. Grass is growing a little bit. I'm not going to walk through there, but the open space is on that side. So, not the greatest view, definitely the best one we've seen so far. Yes, you are looking out to your neighbors, but there's more space. Like I said, these lots are bigger, so you get more of just the natural light coming over here. I do wish they had, when they built the home, they had swung it the other way, meaning flipped it, because it would have been perfect to have the back patio on that corner instead of this corner, because you'd just be right next to that open green space. But that's a small thing. Obviously, we can't go back and fix that. But yeah, this is huge. This is crazy how much space you have out here for this price. And then back here is our primary bedroom. So very large, biggest primary we've seen. This extra space over here, great for a little shelf. Two very wide windows looking into the backyard. And then our primary bathroom. Built-in shelves, walk-in shower, just with the acrylic pan, not floor-to-ceiling tile. You do get 2 sinks though. See toilet here. And then a good-sized closet. And this one was built in 2017. I'm not sure when the current owners bought it, but if they bought this in 2017, you probably have some wiggle room for negotiating. If you really like this, but you just need a lower interest rate, you need the owners to help you buy down the rate. This one's more likely than the previous home because that was built in 23. They bought at the height of the market. They definitely bought it for more than $425,000. I can guarantee that. So yeah, there you have it. I'm really surprised with this video, y'all. Like, I just went into this, I went on my computer, I was like, okay, what are the best ones financially? Look at a couple photos online. What makes sense? All of these are under the average price per square foot for the neighborhood, right? That's $228 per square foot is the average. All of these, the three we've seen, are lower than that. But I'm really surprised by how good all of these homes are for this price. It's definitely a really good time. If you are looking to buy, really good time going into the end of the year to get some really good prices in a really good neighborhood. I think for me, my favorite is still the Ithica. It's still that second home. Much better primary bathroom than that one we just went into, right? I like the upgrades to put in there. I like that you get an extra study included. The primary is on the first floor, but everything else is upstairs. I don't know, I just like that floor plan a lot. I don't like that it's a courtyard home, and so you don't get much yard space, and I have a very active golden retriever, so that doesn't feel good to me, but I like the lot placement too. And this is something you need to think about, is when you're buying a house, how long are you gonna stay there, and what are you gonna do with it afterwards? So if I bought the Ithica, I feel extremely confident that I would be able to sell that at a much higher price in 5-6 years, because I know that town center is going to be built and it's a 5-minute walk from that house, if that. So that lot placement is superb. It's fantastic. That's a really good investment as far as if you think, I'll live here, but I want to obviously get a bigger yard in the future, sell it in 5 years, because the lot placement is going to be great when they build out that town center with all the commercial space there. For the first home, I think that's great if you are wanting to rent it out afterwards. That's a really good rental opportunity where you buy it, you just want the lowest payment possible. Maybe you're a first-time homeowner. You're like, I just want the lowest price in a great neighborhood and at the lowest interest rate. That one's gonna be the ticket for you. Listed at $352,000, something like that. Really good lot placement where you have those trees kind of blocking, you know, the view of the apartment, so you're not staring at that. That's big. And then getting the lower interest rate because of Brookfield's incentives. So that one I would see would make sense if you lived there for maybe 3-4 years and then rented it out, because that would be really easy to find tenants to want to rent out that unit. And then this one, I see this one more for a family. If you have children who are actually going to be living in the guest rooms, those are much nicer guest rooms. You have a huge back patio. You just have more space, right? No stairs. It's all one story. A little bit more privacy. Obviously a big backyard. More of a established part of the neighborhood since this was built in 2017 in Nob Hill. So this one I could definitely see more family oriented. I think all of these are great investments though. I'm really surprised. I don't look at the lots before I show up and I'm like, oh, this has nice trees blocking the apartment. Oh, this one's next to a park. Oh, that one's right next to the town center. Like, all of these are great. So if you are interested in buying a house or selling your house in Easton Park, you can always give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. I'd love to help you and your family find a great deal in the neighborhood. I've been here since 2021. I know the neighborhood extremely well. I know the future plans for the neighborhood, which is important when you're purchasing a home, slash when you're selling a home and you're trying to showcase why it's so good for people to buy. But yeah, reach out if I can help in any way. And until next time, I hope to see you guys around town.